Hi everybody, welcome to episode number 28 of Valiant Effort. My name is Josh.
My name is Nick, and this episode is called The Eternal Emperor.
We're recording in a new spot.
We are. This is quite different for us. We are in the place where I just moved into, and you helped me move into my new condo.
Yes, you now owe me 22 moves.
It's true. I move like every single year.
When my kids move out, I will collect.
You're starting a tab on me. Can I pay with the old soda tab?
What?
The old soda tab?
Oh, I thought you meant the little things that you...
Oh, no, not the soda tabs.
The tab, the soda.
Jinx. You owe me a Coke.
I owe you a tab. The year is 4001. Earth is different than it is now. The people in the marshlands of Arkansas live a simple life. They work the land with their bare hands, and they're led and cared for by Galad Anapada, the Eternal Emperor. Their simple way of life is ruined by a gigantic destructive machine that is destroyed by Galad. But the machine is nuclear powered and is about to blow up. Galad ushers the villagers to nearby ruins with an underground shelter, and they avoid the initial blast. But radiation poisoning will soon set in. Galad and his granddaughter Caroline begin a search to find medicine to cure everybody. Galad and Caroline enter Big Town. There they discover a slave trade, but not for long. Galad quickly and gruesomely dismantles the slave trade. He learns that the slaves are making robots for their king. Galad has had enough and wants to leave the city. But when he discovers that Caroline is also sick with radiation poisoning, he resolves to push on. Galad and Caroline, followed by the slaves they set free, travel to where the king lives. On their way, they are attacked by robot wolves, but Galad easily defeats most of them, and the remaining one leads them to the king's fortress, a landlocked aircraft carrier. The king, Samuel, offers Galad the medicines he needs to cure the sick. The medicine appears effective, and Galad asks for more. But that's going to be a problem. You see, a lot of the technology and knowledge has been lost over the centuries, but one thing that has thrived and has gotten stronger is the Death Cult. And they have taken over the facility that has more medicine. Galad asks for weapons. Galad leads an army to fight off the Death Cult, and after a hard-fought battle, he is victorious. Galad gets the medicine he needs, and he and Caroline return to Arkansas to distribute the medicine with their people. Life returns to normal, but Caroline has seen too much. She's learned about machines and begins building her own. So we're in 4001.
We are, and this has been a highly anticipated issue?
Issues.
Book for me.
Comic book fans have issues.
I have lots of issues myself. I don't know what I was going with that.
Wait, let's stop the podcast and let's talk about the things that are bothering you. I've got a clipboard with a piece of paper, and I'll get a pen, and you can lay down, and we'll talk about
I got a bed right here.
It's affecting your life right now.
All right, so
we're in 4001.
Oh, we're in 4001. Okay. We are in 4001, and Galad has gotten noticeably older, and I wanted to do the math.
Yeah.
To see how much he would age per year, decade, whatever, but I hadn't gotten that far yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he did age until the year 2000, whatever, the books came out. But I don't know if you remember in the first issue of Eternal Warrior, he pulled out a white hair.
Yes, I do remember that.
So that was his first white hair.
Yes, I do remember that. Oh. And regardless whether he started aging at that point, if he started at that moment in time...
Yeah.
It would still average out
sure.
in such a way. So I wanted to do the math. I just hadn't gotten around to it.
So why do you think he's aged?
Because he's not fully immortal.
Interesting. I don't know. It was kind of... I don't know if it was just because they wanted to make him grizzled looking.
Is it because he is part of the Earth, right?
Yeah. And
the Earth is aging. So maybe it's somehow intertwined with that. And maybe as
the Death Cult gets stronger...
maybe that's not where I was going. I'm thinking maybe the Earth is near or getting closer to its death, and he is the personification of Earth's age. I don't know. Just something I thought of at the moment.
Here's the theory that I just came up with. Maybe as the death cult gets stronger and starts to maybe take over more and more of the planet, because they did say that the death cult not only kills people, but it also kills all plant life and everything that it can kill.
Yeah.
So maybe true. as that's happening, he ages.
Yeah, okay, so you're thinking that as the death cult kills more things, thereby the planet is dying, and therefore he is appearing to
I totally agree that he's interconnected with the planet, yeah. And we're certainly in a darker dystopian future.
Yeah, very, very Mad Max-ish, and Fist of the North Star, which is another anime. But it's very dystopian, like you said.
Yeah. And so I have a question about dystopia. There's a lot of it in literature now. It's pervasive. And are you sick of it?
I'm not, because I don't have a lot of TV. I don't watch TV a lot. Yeah. And movies that I watch don't really have it that much. So I can see how it's starting to get a little old.
Yeah. It's like vampires 5 years ago. Yeah. There were a lot of vampire movies. Now there's a lot of dystopian movies.
Yeah.
Maze Runner and Hunger Games and the other one. Divergent. There it is.
I would not have guessed that.
Okay.
But I can see what you're getting at. I feel like a post-apocalyptic type future has already been done. It would be nice to see a different vision other than it being super technological and people are flying around and having silver outfits and whatnot. So having a new, fresh idea would be kind of neat for the future.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with this. I like it.
What I wonder what that fresh idea could be. A future where Google Glass is cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What would be another if it's not
dystopian and it's not Star Trek, where it's super utopia.
What else could it be? Could it be that people are living underground, or they've found a way to somehow live within the inner mantle of the Earth?
That's The Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
Never mind. I don't know. Not our problem.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to chalk it up. It's not our problem. So, but one of the things that irked me a little bit, it was the non-creativity part of names and language. 4,000 years into the future.
2,000.
2,000 years into the future, our language will have evolved and names will have evolved. So it would have been neat to see like a brand new name on here and the language change a little bit. I can understand the language really should stay around our time, but it would still be cool to see something like South Park where everyone just goes, Brow! That's the language. But I totally get that they can't do that. And names, it would have been cool to see a cooler name like Snorgelsek.
It would have been cool if like everybody else but Caroline had weird names, but it would have been cool that Caroline, because maybe Galad would have influenced her name.
Right.
Yeah. I will say this, when we get to Rye, maybe you'll see a little bit more experimentation with the future.
Cool.
So, we had the same artist through the whole book too, which was really nice. Robert Gill did the art. And this is his first work for Valiant, and we're going to see more of his work going forward. How'd you feel about the artwork?
I really did enjoy the art a lot. It looked like it changed like the very last 2-3 pages.
The end, it seemed like he was a little rushed, but it's still his style of drawing faces. Okay. Maybe somebody helped him a little bit more on the inking side. I'm not sure. I totally agree with you. The last 5 or 6 pages did seem a little different, but
I did very.
But I looked at if you look at the faces, you can still tell it's his face. He has very distinct faces. So,
I see.
I think he draws children very well. I think that's a hard thing to draw, and I thought he did a very good job with it.
I think people are hard to draw in general. So.
Yeah.
Especially mouths. If you don't get the mouth just right, or even the eyes, then you could put on a whole different meaning.
And I thought the artwork in some places was very powerful. I think I'll speak about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. chime in at that point. The one thing about the art, which or actually not about the art, but one thing about the story was that monsters had evolved. From what animals, I don't know, but 2,000 years into the future, all of a sudden they have monsters. It looked like they weren't. Were they robots?
They were robots.
Or were they monsters?
They were. Well, the first thing that came after them was a robot.
But there was like this giant thing that had blue fins or whatever. Was that also a robot that they were riding on? It looks like a salamander. It could have been.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I would imagine that. Well, okay, let's theorize. What do you think caused this apocalypse?
Well, I was wondering what caused it beforehand, and then
we don't know.
Book 3 or book 2. It was book 2, where Gilad had alluded to a nuclear war or some kind of event that had caused the world to get into a state because of a nuclear event of some sort. I don't know other than that.
So if that's the case, a nuclear event can certainly mutate and affect.
That is true.
Wildlife. If nothing else, those bears are gigantic.
Yes,
that we see in the third book in this story.
It could be radiated.
Yeah.
So yeah, monsters could have evolved, or the bears. See this thing right here.
Yeah. So these are robots.
It's just I thought it was an animal because it looked like fur.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe they put pelts on it or something
to make it look more organic.
Yeah. Maybe it's a combination. That'd be cool.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
Some kind of a hybrid monster real thing. But the other the dichotomy there is that humans devolved into the society that they're living into now. They don't know much about technology. They don't even know how to use guns.
Yeah. Yeah, they're living a simple farming life.
Yeah.
At least they remember how to farm. So I know Gilad's immortal. But when that nuclear bomb goes off and it rips the other two people to shreds, he seems to be fine.
Yeah, I know. He's not bloodshot.
I've always been under
He's just like, bright light.
I know. Like, that would have burned his corneas.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been under the impression that he still suffers the injury and he feels the pain. He just heals, and maybe heals faster, but...
Yeah, I also noticed that. I just glossed over it because I don't want to think too hard on that one. But I did notice it, and I recognized the issue there. In things like this, though, I tend to just look over little instances like that because it's, as I mentioned a few episodes ago, maybe 10 episodes ago, it's really, the more you delve deeper into a storyline, it's hard to keep everything consistent.
Sure. And from our perspective as well, the more we delve into a storyline, it becomes easier to nitpick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, we could watch Simpsons for years and like, wait a minute, that room was in this section 1 year, and 10 seasons later, now it's something totally different, or something about the way that the town looks. Same.
I acknowledge that it's not a major point. I am curious about why how their immortality takes shape. We've learned a lot about Armstrong's immortality, but we know that his is different. And I like this theory that we've come up with about how he's definitely tied to the Earth. And so I'm kind of looking for, okay, how does he...
How can we continue and to evolve that?
Yeah.
And then as we fast forward through the first book, and there's that slaver, and he wants Caroline.
Yeah.
And Gilad's like, here, hold this, because you're gonna need something for me to kill you with. And he stabs him through the eye.
Yeah.
It was a gruesome death. It was pretty cool.
There's a lot of gruesome deaths.
There is a lot of gruesome death in this one. Like as you said earlier, the burning people, you saw their silhouettes. You could see right through them, and then this guy gets stabbed through the eye, and then the other guy was stabbed. The boss was stabbed way right through the chest. So yeah, a lot of people die pretty gruesomely in this one. Not for kids. I thought that was cool. I just wanted to make note of that. And then right after the death of the slaver, Caroline asks about that man, and Galad says that he's from the city, and she asks what is the city, and he says it's where people turn into monsters. I don't like this quote. This is a dissatisfying answer to me. I hated it when people would answer these types of questions with something vague like that. That is not a real answer. Okay, what is a city? A city is where lots of people are, and there's a whole civilization there where they all do their own thing, do their things with or without each other. A city where people turn into monsters, it's fine, but that's not a real definition. At least tell her what a city is, because she has clearly been by herself, or they've been in their own little niche village for a little while. Just explain more what it is.
Well, it's not a definition, but it is a commentary. So let's focus on the commentary. Do you agree that a city is a place where people can turn into monsters?
I agree with the commentary.
It's got a very Sodom and Gomorrah feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what the line was supposed to say. It's just when I ask, who's Scarlett Johansson, and I get replied with, she's an actress. It's not an answer to me. And this is the same thing. So I understand what they were doing in the book, but it's like when I'm becoming Caroline, I'm putting myself in Caroline's place. It's not an answer, and I want more. I would just say, hey, it's our little village, just with lots of more people.
I think that the line, though, it's where people turn into monsters. I think there's a very definite theme through these 4 stories, and that is a theme of anti-technology. And I think that this is one of the places where that is seen. You disagree with me?
No, I just had a revelation. I just had or I just had a thought.
Yeah.
About the city turns people into monsters.
Yeah.
If, like I just said, if I was Caroline, I would think I would not want myself or Gilad to go into the city because we would turn into monsters. At that age, I'd have that imagination where I'd be like, no, let's not go in there because we'll be monsters. I don't want to be a monster. Let's not go in there. And then I started thinking, did they actually become monsters while going in there? Gilad, maybe not, because he's killed for 4,000 years. But at the end of this book, Caroline changes.
She's different.
She changes, and she is foretold that she's going to destroy the world. That's quite a monstrous thing to do. So maybe she turned into a monster by going to the city. Interesting. I just had that revelation. So
yeah. I want to talk about the anti-technology theme as we continue through the book.
I didn't want to jump too far ahead, but
but I think this is one of the places where we definitely see an example of that. I like Caroline. Do you like her?
I do like Caroline. She's a very, very inquisitive little girl.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I had a problem with was Gilad left all the decision making up to her.
Yeah, but he was not doing it out of a lack of his ability to make decisions. He was trying to teach her lessons as he was doing that.
Yeah.
Like
what do you think we should do?
Well, no, I don't think it's what do you think we should do. I think it was more like, look, if I do that, these are going to be the consequences of those actions. Do you want to go down that path?
And then he gives her the choice, and whatever she chooses, he will do.
Right. But to your point about how she changes, her decisions, and he doesn't always. First of all, he doesn't always do what she says because she told him not to kill the slave guys. But as we see, and especially in the 4th book, her decisions have consequences, and she's the one who has to live with those consequences. And I view them as teachable moments.
Yeah. I mean, I know what he was doing. I know that he was giving her life lessons. I just felt that he was giving her a little bit too much power in some instances.
Okay.
Like I'd be fine to have her input on it, but if it was a bad decision, maybe not go with whatever she decides. Like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that because here's why. Blah, such and such. But
how come the robots in the second book are so inept? Like the robots guarding the city, they just crash into each other within 3 panels. They didn't really.
Well, it's because I'm thinking maybe because the guy. Did they ever give his name with the bloody nose rag around him?
Yes, they did, and I will find it for you while you make your point.
Okay. Maybe it's because he was the one in charge of making the robots. Maybe it was the robots for the king, or maybe those were that. But these robots were made by people, and these people have been devolved back into a hunter-gatherer type society, so they don't really know how to program very well.
So they're inept because they programmed them wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I can go with that. His name is Namir.
Namir, right. So I think maybe that could be why that they're just not working correctly. They still haven't fine-tuned everything. I mean, again, they pointed their guns at backwards, which was pretty funny, but was very realistic. So we also learned a book ago that Caroline is Galad's granddaughter, which is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So she has some kind of immortal ability, I suppose.
Well, his kids seem to have longer life, so
yeah.
I would assume that she has similar.
Yeah, but apparently not 100% because she gets radiation poisoning.
Yeah, that was a super touching moment. That they devoted a whole page to it with her getting the bloody nose.
Yeah,
and that was kind of like a, intake breath moment.
Yeah,
and I really like the choice to give that its whole page so that you could really digest that moment and feel it.
Yeah, because at that moment you almost feel like you're Galad looking at her and going, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
you're just kind of realizing along with him. Like, oh, this is not good. And he just wipes away the blood, and he's like, you're all right. And then, so speaking about the guns, people pointing it backwards, and it's all because Galad had tried to eliminate guns in the past. And this is a really interesting storyline that I'd like to know more about. I don't know if they'll...
Yeah, I don't know if he was being hyperbolic when he said that he tried to get rid of all the guns, or maybe he just, tried to do his own part. But I did catch that line as well.
I thought that was very, very, very intriguing.
He's a peacenik, in a way. I mean, he's this guy who can kill people and will kill people, but I guess he wants to stop other people from killing other people.
It's
like only he can kill people.
I never really thought of it that way, but that's right.
Yeah,
that's double standards.
Well, yes. He's filled with double standards at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he's lived
and even though he says he tried to get rid of guns on the second page of the book, he says the thing that he wishes he had was a gun.
Yeah, so. That's true. And then he destroys them again.
Yeah.
But it was really, I keep going back to it, but it was really funny when they were just pointing the guns backwards at themselves, and they're like, we'll kill you, man. You're like, no, you're not, because you're aiming in the wrong way. And he just shoots the metal, and they all go, Murr! He didn't kill them, did he? Or did he just kind of scare them away? Or scatter them, I should say.
Who?
Did Galad, when he shot the gun after he said, you're pointing the wrong way, he shot it.
He didn't shoot them.
He didn't. Yeah, he just kind of scared them. And like, ah.
At least that's the impression that I got. Yeah.
Okay.
So, this book is written different than the previous Eternal Warrior arc that we read, and also the Archer and Armstrong one, in that there are no flashbacks in this. We're only getting a story in one period of time.
We have a flash forward. The whole entire thing's a flash forward.
Well, yes, in that sense, but it's one contained time period. Did you miss the flashbacks?
No.
So you're all gung ho for future.
I really, because I really liked being able to see their vision of the future, and I was really enamored in the storyline because of that. So I was totally fine with not seeing the past, because we already know. Because more than likely, what would happen is if they went into the past, they would go back into the past timeline of the present. They could go into 23, like he mentioned at some point in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the going trend of many different TV shows and movies, when they have a futuristic storyline and they need to do something in the past, it's always the past is actually the present.
Yeah.
So I was okay with that. I like seeing the future because I like seeing their vision of the future.
I think it would be cool to see the in-betweens, though.
It would be really cool to see the in-betweens, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the in-betweens.
And the great thing about Galad is he's been around since the Mesopotamian times, so it would be, there's just an infinite amount of stories that you can tell about that guy. So
yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing the in-between times, like I said, whether it's through Galad or the Time Walker, whenever that comes out. I like, if they don't exploit those missing 2,000 years, that would be an extreme shame, and I don't think that they would do that. They got to have some kind of storyline in there somewhere, and I'm really excited for those.
You know what this story has a lot of that I like? Walking.
Yes, there is a lot of walking.
I love walking.
What? You love walking?
I do.
I had no idea you liked walking.
I love to walk, and I love to read stories about walking.
The Appalachian Trail book there, Walk in the Woods.
Walk in the Woods, yes.
By Bill Bryson.
Yes.
Do you think that he walked the trail, by the way?
He didn't finish it.
No, he didn't. But at the end of the book, he says, we walked the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hike your own hike, man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be like me and do the whole thing.
I agree. So yeah, you liked walking. You liked this story
because we've never talked about this, so let's give some context. In 2007, I hiked the Appalachian Trail from beginning to end. Took me 144 days, and it was an amazing, life-changing experience that I hope that I can repeat when my children have moved out of my house. After Nick helps my children move out of my house.
I'll have Paige with lots of Tab sodas, so that'll give you energy.
So, and I still have, in crazy, intense, vivid dreams about the hike and my experiences and the animals that I saw. But one of the things that's really prevalent about my hike is, of course, the unending boredom that you experience as you walk 2,200 miles, and how you conquer that in your mind. It's really, you can do amazing things with your brain when you're alone with it for a long time. So I just love stories where people are walking, because I go, oh yeah,
I was there.
I experienced that. I know what it's like to walk from one town to another. More walking story. I guess that's why I like The Lord of the Rings. Because, especially the first one, because it's just them walking.
Yeah, I can't think of any other.
Well, that's why I like Samurai Champloo, and because those are, walking. I just love Mushishi.
Yeah, Mushishi.
She's just walking, a guy walking from one town to the next.
So Galad made a deal with the king, and
Samuel,
and I really thought that was too fast. So I knew that there was something, like, he's like, there's no way he's making this deal. He's already made his mind up to kill this guy.
Yeah.
As soon as they got what they needed, so I knew that deal.
But he didn't kill him.
No, he didn't kill him because he realized he blew his cover too soon. Because then as soon as he got those medicine vials, and Caroline drank it, he's like, all right, I'm going to kill you all unless you tell me where everything is. And then there was a consequence of that. The king says, well, we can't really get it because the death, what is it called? The death group?
The death cult.
The death cult.
The return of the death cult.
So I feel like he probably should have waited to betray the king until after he had the rest of the vials secured.
Yeah.
Then do whatever you want to do. So it backfired on him. So now he's kind of got to do this.
So I don't know if you remembered in the first volume, his son, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of it this entire time.
Is under the tree.
Yes.
And he is going to be the leader of the death cult. Me too.
Ah, that's right.
Wow, I'm glad I pulled that out. I'd lose my Valiant card if I couldn't pull a name out.
You lose your V card?
My V card, yeah. This whole podcast is about you losing your V card. So anyway, he was at the bottom of that tree. He was going to get out in 2,000 years, and it's been that.
Yeah, and I thought Sam was Me Too. I thought the king was going to be Me Too.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess I kind of thought that was what was going to happen too when I originally read it. But we don't see him at all. Did you miss him? Did you want to see him?
I did kind of want to see him, but it's okay that he's not there because I know he'll come up at some point. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that Me Too is the main bad guy 2,000 years into the future in the storyline. So I think it's very beneficial to keep the main bad guy from really showing his face. Just keep building up that hype more and more and more and more, and then once he finally shows his face, like, oh snap! Now everything's gonna go down. Because if they showed Me Too like immediately, it wouldn't be as powerful. Kind of like Jaws, like in the movie Jaws, you never really saw Jaws until the very end of the movie, and then you're like, oh my god, that's the shark! But if you saw the shark the entire movie, it wouldn't be as powerful. So, same concept. Yeah. And so when we find out that the death cult, that now Galad has to take care of the death cult, and Sam brings him down into the weapons closet. Why did Galad just walk into this giant safe with the weapons by himself and Caroline, with the other two on the other side where the door is, and they could just easily lock him inside the...
They need him because those death cultists are coming after them.
I know, but still, I would have been a little more careful.
Yeah,
you can't trust people, especially in those times. You can't trust people. Who knows? They could be working for the death cult themselves. I don't know.
I agree. I guess he could have shot his way out.
That's true. He could have. He had enough ammunition in there.
It's a very bad prison to put him with all the guns.
That is true.
Especially ones on power setting 10.
But if in power setting 10 at that close range, would you just blow yourself up? Well, actually, no, you just have to shield his eyes.
Yeah. No effect would happen.
You just walk out, just a little char.
And Caroline would just get a bloody nose.
Yeah, she would. So does Galad have a mechanized left arm?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is more evident in the covers than in the art.
Yeah, they weren't really... I don't know if they were trying to conceal it by not really concealing it.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting. So that'll be how did he lose his arm?
In some of the covers, especially one of the Luis LaRosa covers, you can really tell that it's mechanized, the arm.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I do too.
I want to know how he lost it.
Me too.
I want to know how he got those scars.
Yep. Do we not know either of those yet? The scars on his eye?
You don't know yet. But I know. I know how he got his scars, but you don't know yet.
It's probably some animal.
Fake news. Some animal.
Well, yeah, because it's like claws going down his face.
But we don't know how he lost that arm.
I'm thinking maybe it was probably Harada or somebody in that timeline.
Well, we seen him with the scars in the...
No, I'm talking about his arm
past. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. If he battled Harada and that's why he has lost his arm. I like that.
Maybe.
Why wouldn't his arm grow back?
Because amputees don't grow back limbs.
So in the I haven't said this sentence in a while.
Ooh.
In the original Valiant universe, Armstrong lost both his legs during one of the world wars, and it was very disappointing to him because it took over a year for them to grow back, and he didn't get to learn the Charleston. That was the line. So in the original Valiant universe, their limbs do grow back.
But that was Armstrong. That's not Galad.
Well, okay. So in the original Valiant universe, they all were immortal for the same reason.
Oh, then I don't know. So now I'll go back to Caroline visiting the city and turning into monsters, and now she's starting to think.
Yeah.
Because she's seen too much.
Yep.
In that city. And now she didn't want any of the robots to die, and Galad killed all the robots and the guns. And was it Namir that gave her the pieces, or was it Sam?
Namir.
It was Namir that gave her the pieces, and she somehow engineered a growing robot, which was weird.
Well, a little bug.
But it looked like it grew, like 10 times its size.
Well, it had plates that like opened up.
Oh, maybe. It just looked like it grew, like grew.
Oh, you mean maybe the on the last page the perspective of the robot?
Maybe it's just a perspective. Okay.
Yeah. So again, I'm seeing an anti-technology theme with Galad's response to her making the little robot. He says that that's what's going to destroy the world, and I think you viewed it as a prophecy that she's going to destroy the world. I viewed it again as more hyperbole, where he's saying that technology destroys the world, and if she creates this little bug, then her kids are going to create something more, and their kids are going to create something more, and that is the end.
Okay.
So, and he destroys all the weapons and the robots. So why do you suppose he wants to live this more simple life? Why is he so against technology?
She's seen what technology does to people. It corrupts us. Look at Toyo Harada. He's just completely corrupted, and it's technology that's really helped him. So he just wants, from what I'm gathering, is he just wants people to live with the earth because he is the earth, and he doesn't want them to live on the earth. He wants them to live with it, and by creating things or by creating things that are not natural to the earth, thereby it is destroying the earth.
Does the earth need us to be stagnant as a species? Do you think the earth needs us to not overpopulate and not build these things on it and create weapons? And so one thing that we've seen a lot is the need for balance. That was a theme in the first one, and we've seen balance as a theme in other things as well. So was the apocalypse that caused the species to go backwards in 4000
part of that balance?
Was that part of was that design?
That is well, we went into this whole Earth needs balance thing a few episodes ago, and I guess by that definition, then yes, I'll say yes, that it is part of that. However, I just attended a lecture by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and one of the things he talked about is that people were always saying, "Oh, we're so like the Earth is a haven, Earth is so wonderful to be in," and it's like, no, the Earth is trying to kill us. It's always trying to kill us because we got all these deadly viruses going on. If you are in water, you could drown. Animals always trying to kill you. Yeah. So the Earth is just always trying to kill you. It's a very violent Earth. Maybe this is part of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice how? Because to me, it is so hit on your head. Message of this book is anti-technology. When you read this, were you seeing that as well, or?
I got the gist of it.
To me, like almost everything Galad says is just.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I can see that message coming through. It was social commentary. There was a lot of social commentary in it. I definitely agree with the guns thing, but we don't really need those. But
do you think that we were hearing Galad's voice, or or maybe even the author's voice?
It
was written by Greg Pak, by the way.
I'm sure that we're hearing a little bit of the author's voice, because a lot of times artists use this kind of a medium to get their voice out.
Do you think that he was in character with what we saw of him before?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not really...
You haven't seen enough of him to...
No, I guess not.
Okay. I thought issue 8 was... the fourth issue in this book was really superb. Especially, there's the scene with the hash marks.
Yeah.
Where he's illustrating to Caroline, look, this is how many we are, this is how many they are. Are our lives worth more than their lives? And the immediate argument was, well, they're not really human. Mm-hmm. But they are. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're people. Yeah. They're just different. They're living different. And the line that Caroline says, they're not us, was like, it was super strong to me. You know, our country is involved in a couple wars right now. And I always wonder how different those people are than us. And I think that the answer is not that much. But it's really easy to say those people and to turn groups of people that you don't understand into something scary or dangerous because it allows you to justify the way you behave around them.
Kind of like the Holocaust, with Hitler saying the Jewish people aren't real people.
Right.
They're more like animals. So
right.
That's why they were able to treat them the way that they did.
You know, we got just recently, I try not to do too much current events because I want the podcast to
be timeless.
Timeless is very arrogant because I'm not really sure how long people are going to listen to this in the future. But I do want people to be able to listen to this at a time period that's different than our own. So if they listen to this episode a year from now or whatever.
Okay, I say timeless because that's what we do in my job, where we can't say on Sunday or tonight's at 5:00 is this happening? We have to say on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely, yeah. So recently we had the in Paris we had the Charlie Hebdo attack, where the fundamentalist Muslims attacked a satire magazine's headquarters. So a lot of the editorial news coverage that I saw was about, and I saw it on both sides, on the right and the left. So this is not a judgment on anybody's political beliefs, but I saw a lot of commentary about all Muslims, as opposed to the people who did it who were assholes. You know, those people were assholes, but not all Muslims are assholes. So, of course. So, you know, when he's saying to her in this, whose lives are worth more, ours or theirs? And she so quickly says, well, ours, because they're different. It really struck a chord with me, because I'm not sure she's right. And I just the ethical question that he was placing before, and you talked about how she's making a lot of this decisions. I thought in this was one spot where it was particularly, he's trying I don't exactly know what he's trying to teach her, but he's certainly trying to teach her something about the cost of lives and what are you worth versus the people you don't know are worth. And I don't know. I don't know if they made the right decision. You can talk anytime during this. Or is it just amusing to you to hear me struggle my way through this?
It didn't impact me as much as you did. I got the same sense. But
yeah.
As you were talking, though, I'm wondering if this is a social commentary.
I think it is
on the United States versus the Middle East.
I think it is
of us objectifying Middle Eastern people.
And I follow Mr. Pack on Twitter, so I'm pretty sure that this is a social commentary on how we treat other people. At the end of the book, Galad talks about how he's happy. Is he happy?
He is not happy. He's not happy at all. He's crying because he knows that she's going to destroy the world.
He sees that history is going to repeat itself.
Yep. History is doomed to repeat itself. That's
but
what I wrote down.
He loves his granddaughter. Is he happy watching her?
He's happy she's thinking,
I
suppose, thinking for herself. But I believe that he's crying because he knows that it's just no matter what he does, it doesn't matter. It's gonna just keep rising up and falling down.
What is Galad's purpose right now?
I don't know.
I mean, we've seen him speak to the earth through geomancers, but we are not seeing that at all here. There seems to be no evidence of a geomancer. There seems to be no evidence of him having communication with the earth. He just seems to be existing.
Yeah.
He's not living. He's existing.
Yeah, I have no idea on that one. What is he doing? Yeah, he's just existing right now. I don't know what his purpose is. Other than to exist. There's really not much he's doing.
What do you think we're going to see next in this storyline?
I think Me Too's going to show up at some point.
So you think we're going to get more 4,000 stories?
Yes.
That you want that?
I'd like that. I mean, I'm sure that it was going to end up doing is going back and forth between present time and 4,000. But it would be neat to have it more 4,000 prevalent.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like that because because every other storyline is in the present.
So yeah, it's an opportunity to have
just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Free reign.
In the original Valiant universe, there was two timelines going on. It was the present day, and there was the 4,000 time period, and it was really neat that both of those things were happening, and sometimes things would happen that would affect the other timeline. So that was always interesting when that would happen. So I'm a fan of the split timelines, and I would like to see more of it. So.
I found it kind of refreshing not to have Toyo Harada in the picture at all. Just kind of because it's very intense whenever he's around and he's fighting everybody. It was kind of nice to see.
We've had a lot of him too. Yeah. There's been a lot of Harada.
It's just been nice to see a world without him, and things are pretty calm for the most part. Like the biggest bad guy there was the guy with the mask on that looked like he was from Mad Max or something.
And he didn't last very long.
Yeah, he didn't last very long at all. And that was I'm fine with that.
And then we had the Death Cult.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's going to be some.
But I mean, that battle really wasn't. I mean, he just mostly misdirected them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you notice that they looked like the Shadow Man?
Yeah, they did.
You think that was done on purpose?
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah,
I was just like, "Oh, look, they're also skulls."
I wonder if it was. I wonder if Shadow Man and the Abettors are part of a death cult and they don't know it, or they do know it. I mean, the storyline certainly deals with death, and
Or maybe it's them saying, we're just going to kill Shadow Man right here. Just stop with this storyline. Just end it all. And so they kill them all. Probably not.
Easter eggs.
Okay.
The pull box variant to issue number 5, which was done by Diego Bernard, that is an homage cover to or homage. How do you say that? How do you say?
I say homage.
Why would I say homage? Because I'm French.
I don't know.
I'm not French. Write to us and tell us how you pronounce this word.
A lot of people say often. I say often.
Yeah. So it's an homage to a cover of Rye, actually, from the original Valiant universe. So that's kind of neat. I always love it when you have a cover that looks like a cover from the past. I always think that's a cool thing. And you got those. What's your favorite cover, Nick?
I think I'm gonna have to go with the Clayton Crane one.
The main cover of the book?
Yep. I really like that one.
Yeah.
I've looked through all of them and I really like them all. The other one that I really like a lot is the one that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
That one's good too, and the one where he's got the 2 weapons on the clock, that's cool too. And the Ninja Sword one is really
cool
too.
Yeah, my 2 favorite are the number 5 variant by Dave Bullock, but my favorite is the number 5 variant by David Mack. I think that's a really pretty color cover with all the watercolors. That's the 1 in 50 variant for number 5. So I'm going to go with that. But I also like the Clayton Crane one as well. I think it's stunning. It certainly is a great cover for the book because you look at that and there's a lot going on there, a lot of story that you just like, what is going on in this book? So I remember when I first saw this was the first image that they released and they said they were going to do a 4001 story. And I went, yes, that cover, 4001. So I think that's a great choice for a cover as well. Did you like the book, Nick?
I really enjoyed the book.
You really seem to like the first Eternal Warrior story. Yep. Did you like this one better?
I liked this one. Yeah, I like this one better.
And is it because it's set in 4000?
Yeah, it's set in the 4000. I really liked the way that the pictures were drawn. It really allowed me to become enveloped in the world that they're living in because of the full page spreads, and there was a lot of times when we could just see the entire environment that they're living in. That was really neat. I also really just liked seeing a different world 2,000 years into the future. I liked seeing what that could be, and just I don't know. I just really liked the whole story. It was really cool. It was really great just seeing how we as a civilization have evolved or devolved into that.
Did you think it was a quick read?
Oh, it was a very quick read.
And are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I liked it too. I thought the first issue and the last issue in it were really good, and the middle was okay. I think that there's a lot to talk about with this book, and I really like how it's set in the future, and I would really enjoy reading more stories in the future. I thought it was really good.
I just think it's a great testament that it was a very quick read. There wasn't really that many lines of dialogue, but we spent so much time talking about it because it's incredibly deep.
Yeah.
And it's just it's great storytelling, how you can write so little yet tell so much. I think that's great.
You want to see what we're doing next?
We are doing Bloodshot next. Oh, we're doing Unity next. And it's the Joker.
It's not the Joker. It doesn't even look anything like the Joker.
He looks like the Joker. Look at his smile.
No, he doesn't look like the Joker.
And it's a copyright symbol, so it's Clayton Henry.
Clayton Crane.
Clayton Crane. I did that last episode too.
Clayton Crane cover. That's Dr. Silk on the cover.
AKA the Joker.
No, it's not anything like the Joker. Just because he's got a big smile. I guess.
The red mask. What was the Joker before he was the Joker? He had like a red hat, a red. Something.
Oh yeah, in the in Batman Mask of the Phantasm, he was the Red Mask.
Was it the Red Mask?
Or something like that, yeah.
It was the red something.
Yeah.
Red Hood.
Red Hood.
That was it.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to read Unity next.
It'd be cool if they had, in their logo for Unity, the eye was a 1.
Oh.
That would be neat.
Yeah, that would be neat. They missed the boat on that.
That they did.
So you're going to get a second story with the Eternal Warrior in it, back to back.
Awesome. I'm totally cool with that.
So, thanks for listening to this episode. You can follow us on Twitter at VE Podcast. You can give us an email, vepodcast@gmail.com, and you can find us online at our website, vepodcast.wordpress.com. Oh, I don't have an ending line.
Oh, that's right, you don't. Are you happy?
I am happy, Nick. I am happy. Because I get to talk Valiant Comics with my best friend.
Tyler's not here right now. I don't know. Oh. That was
Tyler,
incredibly douchey of me.
No. Let's talk about that for a second. Tyler did not let me be a part of his wedding party, but you have. Oh. And I'll never forgive Tyler for not letting me be part of his wedding party.
How do you like that, Tyler? You are now immortalized as not inviting Josh.
So,
to your wedding.
Bye. Bye, everybody, and bye, Tyler. Yeah.